Does it feel like no matter how hard you try, real change always seems to slip away? That restless feeling in your chest. It's not a sign you're broken. It's a signal that the battlefield isn't out there. It's in here, behind your ribs, behind your eyes. It's your soul whispering you're fighting the wrong war. You've been trying to move mountains when your real power was in starting a silent landslide. This video is your new war plan. I'm going to show you the one shift that changes everything. Not by fighting harder, but by fighting smarter. Because the war isn't won with a single strike, it's won in silence. Not with a roar, but with a whisper. The truth. You don't need more force. You need more precision. What if I told you that the gap between who you are and who you're meant to become isn't bridged by a heroic leap, but by 1,000 quiet steps? Tiny choices, invisible to the world, undeniable to your future. This is the paradox that breaks most people. They crave transformation that looks like fireworks. But true power looks like erosion, a drop of water, over and over, until the stone surrenders. You've been told to go big or go home. That's the lie. The truth? The strongest revolutions are the quietest. You've been handed a script that says, do everything, change everything, be everything. But that script is a weapon of mass destruction, and it's aimed at you. Today we rewrite the script. Today we declare war on stagnation, not with a battle cry, but with a whisper. This isn't about becoming superhuman. This isn't about another 4 a.m. alarm and crushing 500 goals before sunrise. It's about something quieter, something smarter, something that looks small, but detonates like dynamite when repeated. You've been trying to move mountains. What you need to do is start a landslide. And a landslide begins with a single stone, a single choice, one habit. The question isn't, can you change everything today? The question is, can you make one move that matters? Because here's the secret. One drop does nothing, one strike does nothing. But repeated, deliberate, small action, they don't just carve valleys, they rewrite worlds. And this is how the quietest ones win the longest wars. So, let me ask you, are you ready to fight the right war? Because what comes next will arm you with weapons no one sees coming. Weapons that dismantle resistance. Weapons that turn inertia into momentum. Pause for a moment, breathe, and notice what's stirring beneath the surface. Because the storm, it has only just begun. And the next wave will show you the physics of transformation. You've heard the phrase 1,000 times, small changes matter. But let me tell you something, that phrase is weak. It sounds like a motivational poster in a break room. It doesn't pierce the armor of your doubt. You see, a landslide doesn't start with an earthquake. It starts with a single shift beneath the surface. A pebble moves, then another, then gravity, that invisible force, does the rest. Tiny habits are gravity. Once set in motion, they pull everything else with them. Not by force, by inevitability. So let's talk about why you've struggled. Why you feel like every attempt to change ends in smoke and rubble. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack discipline. You've been trying to sprint in boots of lead, boots named all or nothing, perfectionism and overwhelm. You've been told that success requires obsession, that you must go hard or go home. But those boots are killing you. You don't need to run faster, you need to unlace them, one strap at a time. Here's what the perfectionists never tell you. The biggest enemy of progress isn't failure. It's the illusion that you need to do everything, right now, perfectly. But transformation? It doesn't roar. It whispers. And that whisper becomes a storm. You know why a drop of water wears down stone? Because it never quits. Not because it's strong, but because it's relentless. Day after day, moment after moment. And the same is true for you. Your identity isn't rewritten by grand gestures. It's rewritten by tiny signatures, signed every day in the ink of action. One glass of water, one page read, one push-up, that's your ink. But here's the twist. It's not the size of the act that matters. It's the repetition. Because repetition is the architect of identity. Do it once, and it's an event. Do it daily, and it's who you are. And when these small acts stack, when they compound, they don't just create habits, they create inevitability. Because here's the law they never taught you. Consistency compounds faster than intensity. Intensity burns bright and dies. Consistency flickers and becomes a wildfire. So if you've been failing, if you've been breaking promises to yourself, and it's not because you're broken, it's because you've been trying to move mountains when all you needed was one stone. And this is your stone. Your first quiet victory. The landslide is waiting. Are you ready to feel the earth shift beneath your feet? Because next, we don't just talk about theory. We unlock the secret weapon hiding inside your brain. And once you see it, you'll never fight this battle the same way again. Your brain isn't your enemy, it's your strongest ally, but only if you learn its language. You see, most people try to brute force change. They use guilt, they use hype, they use raw willpower, like swinging a rusted sword against a fortress of steel. That fortress? It's called the habit loop. Routine, reward, the holy trinity of human behavior. And here's the thing, you can't destroy it, but you can reprogram it. This is your source code, and today, we hack it. The old way says, change everything overnight. The new way says, shrink the battle until you cannot lose. You don't start by running a marathon, you start by tying your shoes. This is called the 5-minute rule. The art of making resistance too slow to mobilize. 2 minutes of movement, 2 minutes of reading, 2 minutes of breathing. Because here's the secret. The hardest part of any habit isn't doing it, it's starting. So you trick your brain, you tell it, this is so small, it's not worth a fight. And while your doubt is still asleep, you make your move. This isn't weakness, this is war strategy. Jiu-jitsu against procrastination. You use the enemy's weight against itself. And once you start, momentum takes over. Because an object in motion stays in motion. That's not just science, that's survival. But we don't stop there. We layer power upon power. We build habit stacking, the architecture of your new life. Here's how it works. Your brain loves anchors. Things it already does, brushing your teeth, making coffee, checking your phone, don't deny it. So you take one of those anchors, and you stack a new habit on top. After I brush my teeth, I will drink a glass of water. After I make coffee, I will write one sentence. After I check my phone, I will take one deep breath. Why does this work? Because your brain craves patterns. It doesn't want to build a road from scratch. It wants to extend an existing highway. And here's the payoff. You no longer fight for discipline. You architect it. You architect it. You become the coder of your own destiny. So when people tell you, you just need more willpower, laugh. Willpower is a matchstick in a hurricane. You need systems, you need code, you need a blueprint that makes success inevitable. And this is only the beginning. Because now that you know how to hack your brain, it's time to load your arsenal. Weapons forged for the modern warrior, tools that fit in your pocket, but hit like thunder on the battlefield of your life. Are you ready to gear up? Because next, we open the war chest. A warrior without a weapon is just a target on someone else's battlefield. You've got the mindset. Now you need the tools, not swords, not shields, but rituals. Silent weapons you carry into every day. Let's start where all battles begin, the morning. This is not a routine, this is a compass. A ritual that sets the architecture for your day. When you wake, don't rush. Don't dive into chaos like a soldier charging blind into smoke. Pause. Look at the sky. For 1 minute, that's all. A single minute of stillness, scanning the horizon of your life. This isn't woo-woo. This is a systems check for the human soul. Then hydrate. Not because a fitness guru told you to, but because every cell in your body is begging for it. A glass of water is a silent oath. I will prime the engine of my potential. Next move, not for an hour, not for glory. Move for 2 minutes, stretch, breathe, remind your body it's alive, because motion is the battle cry of life itself. Then the midday front line, the slump comes, and you think it's failure. It's not, it's an alert. Your system is overheating. You don't need shame, you need a reset. So here's your weapon, a 2-minute brain dump. Grab a pen, bleed the chaos onto paper, clear the field so the enemy can't hide. And when your mind still feels heavy, step outside, walk. not as an escape but as a patrol of your mental perimeter. Scout the terrain, breathe different air. Remind your nervous system that the world is bigger than your screen. Then comes evening, the time most warriors fall, because they think the battle is over. It's not. The night is when you fortify the castle. You don't just wind down, you integrate, you harvest the day's lessons, you fortify your peace. Take 5 minutes, write one gratitude, not because it's cute, but because it rewires your mind to scan for opportunity instead of obstacles. This is neuroplasticity in armor. And when the screens tempt you, when the glow of false light calls like a siren, lower the drawbridge, let the moat fill. Defend your sleep like the crown jewel it is. These are not chores, they are weapons, small, silent, devastatingly effective. And when you wield them daily, you stop living by accident. You start living by design. But don't just listen. Don't just nod and scroll, because next I'm giving you your first mission, your first field test. And if you accept it, you'll never look at habits the same way again. A warrior without a mission is just a spectator in uniform. Enough theory, enough talk, it's time for war. Not against the world, not against fate, against inertia. You don't need to conquer the mountain tonight, you just need to move one stone. Here's your mission, your first quiet strike. When you wake tomorrow, do one push-up, just one. Not to build muscle, to break the spell of inaction, to prove that resistance bleeds when you pierce it. Next, the 5-minute tidy, 5 minutes to reclaim your space, because the battlefield of your environment shapes the battlefield of your mind. Order your space, and you order your spirit. And before the world pulls you into chaos, drink that glass of water. Not because it's trendy, but because it's the simplest oath of self-respect you can swear. And when you miss a day, and you will, remember this. You didn't break the chain. You are the chain maker. The strength isn't in never falling. It's in reaching for the next link, even after you hit the ground. So don't track for perfection. Track for proof of persistence, because persistence wins wars that talent never will. And then, one day you'll look back and realize this was never about water or push-ups or tidy desks. This was about identity, about becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. You'll wake up and whisper, I'm no longer someone who wants discipline, I am disciplined. Not because you said it, because you proved it, one tiny victory at a time. And then, the ripple begins. Your confidence bends reality. Your career, your health, your relationships. They all follow the gravity of who you've become. And that's when the avalanche hits. Not of chaos, but of unstoppable momentum. You were looking for fireworks. Instead, you built a quiet revolution. And that revolution, it will outlast the noise. The storm is yours to command now. The field is yours to hold. The future is yours to shape. But only if you act. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Choose one habit. Declare it in the comments. Not for me, but for you. One quiet step. That's all it takes to begin. Because the world isn't changed by those who do everything, it's changed by those who do one thing consistently. So rise. Rise in silence, rise in persistence, rise little by little.